to be doing today is going over lesson 1.2D, solving linear inequalities. So the only difference between this lesson and 1.2A is we have variables on both sides of the inequality. So we're going to be going over this together, and hopefully you're going to be able to try a few on your own as well. So first things first, guys, let's go ahead and look at this one. We're going to be doing number 1 together, and what it says is 10b plus 6 is less than 6 plus 2b. Now remember, the first step is you always want to get the b's on the same side as the inequality. Now I can't add these at the moment because they're on different sides of the inequality. We treat the inequality similar to an equal sign. So we're going to minus 2b on the left and the right side, 2b, and this would give me 8b plus 6 is less than 6. And when I minus 6 on both sides, I am going to have 8b is less than 0. Then final step is I'm going to divide both sides by 8 to have b is less than 0. Remember, this is saying all my answers are less than the number 0. So we're going to put 0 right here in the center. We're going to have like positive 1 and negative 1. And then I need to decide, is it an open or a closed circle? In this instance, it's going to be an open circle, which means 0 is not part of the solution. And it says shade all the numbers that are less than 0. Remember, less than is to the left, greater than is to the right, which means on this example, I would shade to the left. So all of these answers right here. All right, let's go ahead and move to this next one. On number 2, first thing what I want to do is see, can I combine any like terms on the left or the right side of the inequality? Well, on the left side, I have 3n minus n plus 10, and I can combine the 3n minus n. This would give me 2n plus 10 is less than or equal to 4n minus 2. I now need to get the variables on one side of the inequality, and what I'm going to choose to do is subtract 2n on both sides. This leaves me with 10 is less than or equal to 2n minus 2. And if you're wondering, why did I subtract 2n? Well, it's because I like keeping my variables positive, so I decided to subtract 2 on both sides of the inequality versus 4 on both sides of the inequality. From there, what we're going to do is add 2 on the left and the right-hand side to eliminate 2. And then I would have 12 is less than or equal to 2n. From there, what we're going to do is divide both sides by 2. This would give me then n is greater than or equal to 6. Or you can rewrite it on the variable on the other side. You just need to make sure that it still says greater than or equal to 6. So right there, we're going to have 6 in the center. And then I'm going to have a solid closed circle. We're going to have 7 to the right, 5 to the left, and it says shade all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 6. And I'm going to shade to the right because it's greater than. Now, as a quick reminder, guys, it's a solid circle, which means that 6 is part of the solution. Okay, over here now. Here we got a little bit more things to do. First thing that I would do is distribute the 10 to both terms in the parentheses. This would give me 20a plus 10 is greater than or equal to 5a minus 10. So then I would minus 5a minus 5a to have 15a plus 10 is greater than or equal to negative 10. From there then, I would minus 10 on both sides, and this would give me then 15a is greater than or equal to negative 20. From there, I would divide both sides by 15 to have a is greater than or equal to negative 20 over 15, and those are both divisible by 4. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. Oh, they're not both divisible by 4, excuse me. They're both divisible by 5. Let's try that one more time. So we're going to divide them both by 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. All right, so that would be negative 4/3. And negative 4/3 is actually between the numbers of negative 1 and negative 2. We got 0 over here and negative 3 over here. I'd have a closed circle because it's greater than or equal to, and I would shade to the right. All right, let's continue here. So here, guys, I have 4.5x minus 2 is less than or equal to 6.5x plus 4. So the first thing that I would do is subtract 4.5x on both sides of the inequality. This would give me negative 2 is less than or equal to 2x plus 4. Then I would minus 4 on both sides to have negative 6 is less than or equal to 2x. And then when I divide both sides by 2, I'm going to get x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So that would go in the center of negative 3. I would have a closed circle with a negative 2, a negative 5. And then, remember, we read from the variable. What this is saying is x is greater than negative 3. So all the numbers that are greater than are to the right. And I put negative 5. We could have put negative 4 there. Made a little bit more sense. Okay, next thing what we're going to do is look at this one right here. Now, number 5 has a fraction in it. And there's nothing I can really combine that fraction with that would get rid of the fraction. Meaning over on number 4, I didn't choose to do a decimal buster because I saw when I subtracted 4.5x on both sides, I would have just a 2x with no decimal remaining. But that would not be the case on number 5. So what I would do here is I would multiply everything by 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. This would give me 6x plus 16. 1/2 of 2 is 1x plus 14. Okay, so then from here what we are going to do is begin to solve for x. My first step would be to minus x on both sides. This would give me 5x plus 16 is greater than 14. I'm going to minus 16 on both sides to have 5x is greater than negative 2. And then I will divide both sides by 5 to have x is greater than negative 2/5. Negative 2/5 goes right here in the center. I am going to have, let's see, that is between 0 and negative 1. I'm going to have an open circle that is not filled in. And it said shade in all the numbers that are greater than negative 2/5. So we would just shade to the right. Okay, and then we're done there. This next one looks a little tricky. Now, I have this negative 3 out in the front. A common mistake students make is when they distribute this 3, they forget to include the negative in front of it. So we are going to take this negative 3 and we are going to distribute it to the h as well as the negative 2. So this will give me 11 minus 3h, and then this turns into plus 6. Remember, it's a negative times a negative to get plus 6, and that's less than or equal to 10h minus 9. So now let's go ahead and combine like terms. When I look at the left side, I have 11 plus 6, which is 17. So I'm going to have 17 minus 3h is less than or equal to 10h minus 9. From there, what I want to do is add 3h, and this will give me then 17 is less than or equal to 13h minus 9. Last step is I'm going to add 9 on both sides. This would give me 26 is less than or equal to 13h. And finally, once I divide both sides by 13, I will have, I'm going to write it up here, h is greater than or equal to 2. So remember, we always read from the variable. H is greater than or equal to 2. So you could also write it as h is greater than or equal to 2, if that's how you like reading it. Remember, if you do the arrow method and you like shading the direction of the inequality is pointing, the variable must be on the left-hand side. So we're going to have 2 in the center, 3, and 1. Now I'm going to have a closed circle. That means the 2 is part of the solution. And remember, I know it's closed because the inequality has this line underneath it. That means it's a closed circle. And then it just says shade all the numbers that are greater than 2, which is to the right. Okay. Now from here, guys, we did a handful. What I would really like you guys to do is try the next few, so the second page, 7 through 12, on your own. So pause this video, solve as many as you can, and then just skip to the ones that you get stuck on, okay? So I'm going to continue this video of solving. I just want you to try them independently. Since we have a sub, I'd like you to do this independently. But if you get stuck, please feel free to keep watching. If you feel like you need additional practice, feel free to continue watching at this point. Okay, guys, so at this point, you should either pause and finish 7 through 12, or you're following along with me as we go. So I'm going to be solving these right now. So right here, guys, I have a fraction. Now remember, to clear the fraction, to get rid of the fraction, you look at all your denominators and you multiply by the least common multiple. In this example, my fraction is 5. So I'm going to multiply each and every term by 5. This would give me 30 plus, these 5's cancel, 2k is less than, these 5's cancel, and I'm left with 1k is less than 5. I now need to get the k's on the one side of the inequality, so I'm going to do that by subtracting 1k on both sides. This would give me 30 plus k is less than negative 5. All right, I have k all by myself on the left-hand side. So remember, you need k's on one side and constants on the other. I'm saying that because my go-to thing is like, oh, maybe I should add 5 on both sides. But you do not want to do that because you want k all by itself. And when you look over here, what's on the same side of the inequality as k? Oh, it's this positive 30. So I would need to minus 30 on both sides to have k is less than negative 35. So when we graph this, k goes in the center of negative 35. We'll have negative 36 to the left and negative 34 on the right. We're going to have an open circle and we are going to shade to the left because it is less than. Over here now, we have a lot of stuff. So first thing we're going to do is combine like terms. And I'm going to do that by distributing this 11 to the x and this 11 to the 1. So now I will have 11x plus 11. Now I'm going to distribute this negative. There's an invisible 1 right here. So I'm going to distribute this negative 1 to the x and to the negative 3. This would give me negative x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 4x plus 16. Looking at the left-hand side, I need to combine like terms. I can combine this 11x minus x to get 10x, and I can combine this 11 plus 3 to get positive 14. And then I still have the greater than or equal to 4x plus 16. From this point now, guys, I want to get the x's on the same side as the inequality. What I'm going to choose to do is minus 4x on the left and right side. That would eliminate these x's to have 6x plus 14 is greater than or equal to 16. From here, let's go ahead and minus 14 on both sides to have 6x is greater than or equal to 2x. Nope, just 2, just 2. Take that back. Okay, so then final step is divide both sides by 6 to have x is greater than or equal to 2 6, which reduces to 1/3. So 1/3 is going to go in the center. You have 1 on the right, 0 on the left. You're going to have a closed circle because it's greater than or equal to. And since it says greater than, we are going to shade to the right. All right. Next one over here. Up, another one with a fraction. So once again, we are going to do a fraction buster. And we're going to start by looking at my denominators, which are 4 and 2. And when I look at the least common multiples of 2 and 4, I look at the multiplication tables of 2 to get 2, 4, 6, 8. And if I look at the multiplication tables of 4, 8, 12, 16, so on and so forth, I am looking for the first number that they have in common. And in this one, it's 4. So we are going to multiply each and every term by 4. Everything. So even the whole numbers. So I look at these 4s, 3/4 of 4. Well, I notice that I can cross-reduce these and just be left with 3a minus 4 times 5 is 20 is less than 1/2 of 4 is 2. So this would be 2a plus 40. I now want to get the inequalities, or excuse me, the variables on one side of the inequality, and I'll do that by subtracting 2a on both sides. This will give me a minus 20 is less than 40. And then I'm going to add 20 on both sides. This would give me a is less than 60. So we're going to put 60 in the center, 59 and 61 on each side. And then I need to decide, is it an open or a closed circle? Well, since it's only less than with no bar under it, it's going to be an open circle, which means 60 is not included. And it says shade all the numbers that are less than 60, which would be the numbers to the left. Okay. So over here now, same idea, except we have a lot of decimals. So to solve this now, guys, we are going to do a decimal buster. So I look at the 1 and 5/10, 5/10 x, 8/10 x, 10 and 3/10, and I think, what is the greatest place value on all those? And in this instance, the greatest place value is the 10th spot. There's no hundredths, there's no thousands, it's the 10th spot. Now, guys, that means we're going to multiply everything by 10, every term. So the 1.5 is 0.5x, the 8.5x, and this is where students get confused. You also must multiply the 10 by 10 as well, and the 0.3x by 10. This would give me 15 plus 5x is less than 8x minus 100 minus 3x. And then I will have 15 plus 5x is less than 8x minus 3x is 5x minus 100. Okay, from here, guys, I'm going to minus 5x. This will give me 15 is less than negative 100. This is actually the first time we've seen this before. My variables got eliminated, and if you remembered, when we did this with an equal sign, I will have one of two solutions. I will either have no solution, or I will have infinitely many solutions. And we decide that if it is a false statement or a true statement. So let's look at this. 15 is less than negative 100. It's saying a positive number is smaller than a negative number. And that is just not true. That's a false statement, which means my final solution would be a no solution. Remember, this occurs when we have no variables. They get canceled out, they go away, and you're left with a false statement. And to graph it, it's very easy. Shade all the correct answers. Well, there actually are no correct answers, so we wouldn't shade anything on the graph. Okay, over here, let's go ahead and begin solving this one. 8 minus 5 times the quantity of t minus 1 is less than 7 plus 2 times the quantity of 3 minus t. So I'm going to start by distributing this negative 5. Once again, guys, don't forget the negatives attached to it. So we're going to have negative 5 times t and negative 5 times negative 1. This gives me 8 minus 5t plus 5 is less than 7 plus 6 minus 2t. Oops. Let me fix that t. Okay, so let's combine like terms. On the left side of the inequality, I can do 8 plus 5, which is 13. And I'll be left with minus 5t. And that's going to be less than 7 plus 6, which is 13 minus 2t. I'm then going to add 5t on both sides. Remember, I do this because I want to keep my values positive. And then I'm going to have 13 is less than 13 plus 3t. I'm going to minus 13 now on both sides to have 0 is less than 3t. Sometimes students get stuck here and they're just getting confused and say, no solution. That's actually not the case. What we would do is divide both sides by 3 to have t. Let me start from the left side. I would divide both sides by 3 to have 0 divided by 3 is 0, is less than 3 divided by 3 is t. So it's basically saying my answer is greater than 0. So every solution, or every right answer, is just going to be greater than 0. So for people like shading the direction of the inequality symbol, just flip everything, meaning put t on the left side, flip the sign, put 0 on the right side. So for the people who use that strategy, that's the one you would want. So 0 is going to go in the center. We're going to have 1 on the right, negative 1 on the left. We're going to have an open circle and shade to the right. All right, guys, last one. So first off, I have a lot of things. I'm going to start by distributing this 2. It's a little tricky. So it's going to be 12 plus 2/5 x is greater than, now 2 times 1/5 is just 2/5, x minus 2. I would then multiply everything by 5 to do my fraction buster. This would give me 60 plus. These 5's cancel to get 2x is greater than. These 5's cancel to give me 2x less than 10. Then I'm going to minus 2x on both sides to have 60 is greater than negative 10. I want you to notice I have no variables. This will either give me a no solution or infinitely many solution. You can tell which one is which is if I have a false statement is no solution, or if I have a true statement, it's infinitely many solutions. So let's look at this. I have no variable, and it says 60 is greater than negative 10. It says this positive number is greater than this negative number, and we would say that is true, which means this would be an infinitely many solutions. So to graph that, it's saying every number is a correct solution, so you would literally shade your entire number line. All right, guys, this concludes this video. Please check Google Classroom to see what your next assignment is.